we've got an outstanding challenge. Anytime you open up the season with an SEC opponent, you know you have your hands full, and Kentucky's a well-coached football team with outstanding football players, and we know we've got to be ready this week.
How important is it to get the first game for a win this season, even though it's a non-conference game?
Well, I always like to say we count our poker chips up at the end. You know, I mean, you can't. Every team in America wants to win the first game because that's the only game, you know, this week. But the reality is, it's a long season, and you know, we know this is the only game on the schedule this week, and this is all we're going to focus on. So I know we got an outstanding opponent we're playing, and I know we have a big challenge.
Coach, do you feel like it's important for your team to start off the game fast on Saturday?
You always kind of like that, Lanny, early, you know, especially early in the season. You always like a fast start. I don't think anybody doesn't, but the reality is we know it's going to be a 60-minute ball game. Anytime you're playing a team of that caliber of Kentucky, that you know it's going to be a war, and you know that you got to play 60 minutes in order to be successful.
Coach, does Kentucky present any unique challenges on either offense or defense with the schemes that they run?
They're a very multiple football team. I think well-coached football team. You know, that's the best way to put it. So, you know, yeah, we have a big challenge, and certainly a team that we know is going to test us.
Coach, your first game of Southern as coach coming back after a hiatus. Do you have any jitters coming back?
You know, I don't think there's any season I don't go through where you don't, that first game, you don't have a little bit of jitters. You know, if you do, I think if you don't, I think you're in the wrong place. I think you're always excited. The first game's always probably the game that, you know what I'm saying, the nerves are there, you know what I'm saying? But it's a reality of sport. It's a reality of competition. So, but it's fun to get into game week.
Coach, looking big picture, what does this game at Kentucky mean, you know, for you and, you know, just this era of Southern Miss football?
You know, again, I'm a guy that, you know, that it's a football like life's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, the reality is certainly it's a big game because it's the game we play each week. One thing I learned a long time ago, the most important game of the season is the next game. And we know that it's a big game. We know it's a tough opponent, and we know it's a big challenge.
Is your team at the level that you thought it would be or hoped it would be at this point?
I think we got outstanding guys that are working hard. Yeah, I think it's a football team that I love coaching, and it's a football team that we've got a lot of workers on our football team, which I like, you know, and we're a football team that this is just a joy to be around. So excited about this bunch.
From the start of fall camp to now, how have you seen the team kind of come full circle and, you know, really get to the point where you're ready to play somebody else?
Well, I think, you know, it's kind of like the evolution of man, you know what I'm saying? It just gets a steady progression. You know, we've got to continue to grow, and we are at a good pace, and you know, we just got to continue on.
Coach, it looks like Draper's going to be out. Do you have anybody else that's kind of worried about going in?
No, I think that's about it, Tim. Really, you know, we lost Pat preseason, you know, for camp, so you know, but I think that's about it.
What do you expect out of the matchup against Kentucky? I know it's kind of a broad question, but just in terms of the
Just a hard-nosed, tough football game. You know, it's kind of coach speak, but it's the truth. You know, it's a well-coached football team with a lot of outstanding athletes, so we know we got our plate full.
What kind of identity are you looking for your team to have just from the opening days of the game?
Just want to play physical football, assignment football. That's all you can ask. You can't ask any more out of your team, and that's what we want to see on Saturday.
Is there any message you're teaching differently now that it's game week and it's not just camping anymore?
I'm kind of stay consistent. You know, we do what we do, and that's the reality of it. And we just know we got a tough opponent.
when you guys, you know, rally in the locker room one more time before you take the field, what's your last message to send to them?
Well, it's you know, we're just going to have to hit the field and go play and a good, tough assignment football game. That's the reality.
Coach, a couple of spots on the depth chart that look a little bit different. Jerry at defensive tackle, Oliver Bates at left guard. If you could kind of talk a little bit about what put them
Well, of course, we got a nice battle going inside. I really consider us to have 3 starters inside. You know, we have Oliver, we have Devin, Brandon, all those 3 guys. You know, when you start talking about snap counts and plays, there probably won't be a lot of difference. Of course, you know, Drape's injury, you know what I'm saying, is what, you know, was Jerry's now taking over the role there. So, you know, but Jerry's had an outstanding summer, so we're excited about him.
Have you noticed your players getting kind of antsy just to go hit somebody else?
Well, we start practice today, so I think you know, you kind of officially end summer camp that weekend before the first game. So I think they'll come back tonight with a little bit more juice. I think everybody in America will be. So it's usually this first 2 or 3 practices of game week, or you know, they amp it up a little bit.
Going up against a defense that's been kind of been hyped up over the offseason, what do you expect from your offense this game?
Well, again, we want to go out and play good football. I mean, the reality is, you know, that's all you can expect. You know, good, tough assignment football, and that's what you expect. And the reality is, they are a very good defense and a very good football team. So, you know, that's our challenge, and that's what we have to do.
Being a head coach now that college football is officially back, I'm assuming life is better.
Repeat that one more time.
I mean, now being a head coach, now that college football is back, I'm sure life is better.
Yeah, it's always fun to get back into the competition. I mean, I think that's why guys play and guys coach. You know, at the end of the day, you're back into the competition, so it definitely gets the blood moving.
When we look out and see you on the field, are we gonna see an emotional running up and down the sideline type guy? Or
I doubt it. I doubt it. If you've watched me any over the last 4 years, I'll be consistent to that. You know, I mean, that's kind of who I am on the sidelines. I'm not, you know, I don't really change a lot. You know, you got to be who you are. And that's the one thing I think in coaching and in life I've learned. You know, you got to be your personality, nobody else's. So I'm sure there's time or two I might get a little fired up, but you know, I'll be pretty calm.